Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast.
All right, guys, it's just me. Hopefully we've been keeping you entertained. We're going to kind of keep going. I really do. I want to bring my brother on just for that segment and I'm not going to elaborate on it. And I want to go through the comments now. I'm sorry I've been missing it. We've just been so lost in conversation. But there's a story, and it's a drunken story, and it's from I think it was from 2005. So it was 23 at the time. And I want to bring my brother on to tell that story. Because we'll just call it the Marine helicopter pilot story. It was fun. So I think I'll do that. Casey's birthday is March 17th. It's also St. Patrick's Day we'll be celebrating. Hopefully I can bring somebody on. But let's see what some of you guys are saying about that. Drunk Mick sounds fun. He is fun. I can't do it anymore, though. I can't do hangovers. I didn't get my first hangover until I was like 32, 33. And it had to stop. I was like, I'm not drinking anymore. I was like, that's it. I want to see that. It was fun times back in the day. Ain't gonna happen anymore. You know what I do? I get drunk now sometimes. Sometimes when we're doing Skyline for Indie Film Fest, there's an online thing called Scripts Gone Wild, and I've been on it before. And it's a drinking game where we're acting out a movie based on the script, and there's certain words you got to drink to and stuff like that. And now such a lightweight when it comes to drinking, I get drunk pretty fast. So like it'll take like a drink or two, and it's kind of funny then you see them come out a little bit, but it isn't to what it was, for sure. And thank God my brothers don't watch my shows, or they'd be going crazy right now. How can it be on the list for that? Is it the whites? It is not, you jerk. I'm not even getting into that, you jerk. I love you. I'm in. What do I got to do? What do I got to order? You don't have to order anything. I'm just kidding with you, man. I'll put you on. Just send me your number. Next time I'm drunk, I'll just put you on the list. It was just at that time, it was those four guys. At different times, it's been different people. Like before Casey and Billy, like my buddy Derek was on there. If I were just doing it now, my buddy Gerard would be on there. So yeah, it's not just white people. You jerk. I love you. My shirt is still waiting on a few more sheep to show. You have not gotten your shirt yet? I got an email 2 weeks ago that said they sent it out to you. I'll look. I don't know. Man, I can't believe you haven't gotten your shirt yet. You're the only one who hasn't gotten anything. John has that shirt. I might need to message you guys his number. I'll add him to the list. And then I got drunk once from blue raspberry vodka. Puking blue is the worst. Puking in general is the worst. I'll say that. But puking blue or green or any color, it's hard. It's hard. And I don't even think it was the alcohol that made me throw up that night. I think it was the sugar in the drinks that made me throw up. Mick, you can drop your store link, please. Sure. Put it right now, right in there. And everybody wants to go. Or you can go to our website. It's got a link there as well. But here you go. It's in the comments. Snobsmerch.com. Snobsmerch.com. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Or I can do, that's our new style logo with the graffiti. We're going in. So I did that the other day. I created it because we're going into the spring and summer months. And I'll announce it now because we're here doing our thing. Every year in the summer, we pick a theme. Last year was summer camp. The year before that was summer school. I forget what the one in the year before that was, but like it's a different summer theme. I think it was beach theme. This year, we're doing exotic locations to travel to. So each week, we're going to pick something different to kind of like highlight a different area that's like maybe summery in fashion and kind of enjoy. We got when you forget it's St. Paddy's Day and don't trust why everything coming up is green is the worst, I'd say. Here's the thing about St. Patrick's Day. I haven't drank on St. Patrick's Day since I want to say 2006. I get tired of amateur night. I get real tired of it. I used to be a big drinker. I used to go out quite a bit in my single days. And like I said, I have a lot of fun and just kind of get drunk and hang out. So I stopped doing that on St. Patrick's Day in 2006. I was leaving for school. I was moving to Florida, so my hometown threw a going away party for me at the local bar. This thing was packed out. Got hammered. And then after that, I was just like, I was kind of focused on school, and then I was working in the industry for a while, and then just a lot came. And I can't take all the amateurs on St. Patrick's Day. They drive me crazy. It's like, drink or get off the pot, goddammit. But I do agree, throwing up any color is horrible. Yeah, there's plenty of stories like that, especially when it's involving my brothers or something. And it's funny because Casey is there for most of them, and he knows. But man, let me tell you, there's some fun stuff. Yeah, we're going through. Hold on one sec. Let's kind of get into it a little bit. We haven't covered any news. We haven't covered. Oh my God, I didn't even tell Casey the thing I told him I was going to tell him before the show started. God damn it. Let me message him because that's going to drive me crazy. We got so wrapped up in all these stories. I forgot to tell him what I was talking about. Look them up. Look them up. So we're getting into it, and yeah, it's just so weird, man. It's weird when Casey leaves because then we were having such good laughs, and then I feel like it was a train derailment, and I'm not. There's a lot of those going on these days, so I'm not trying to make light of it or anything. But I need to check on Ohio actually and see how they're doing. I'm a little worried about them. How you guys doing over in Ohio, Jason? You guys okay? How close are you to that? What happened? I'd love to hear, some news about it if you know anything, as long as you guys are doing well. All right. So I saw Creed 3 last night. Now, of course, there's a full review up over on our YouTube channel. You can go check it out. And I kind of get into it. It's non-spoiler and spoiler, but I want to talk about it a little bit because it was one of those movies that blew me away with so much stuff that they chose cinematography wise and acting wise and stuff that was just so fantastic. And I'm such a mark for the Rocky and the Creed movies. But I got to tell you, this might be the best movie in the entire franchise. Out of all 9 movies, this was fantastic. And it doesn't even have Rocky in it. That's the best part. They talk about him, of course, and they talk about Apollo. The thing I really liked about that was, and it's been coming up a lot, like, why isn't he in there? What's the reason? And it's like a whole bunch of turmoil behind the scenes, not with Michael B. Jordan, but with the producers of the movie and Sylvester Stallone. What I liked about this was they incorporated Rocky so much in the first 2 movies that it didn't become about Rocky, but he was there, and it was definitely Michael B. Jordan's Adonis Creed character was sort of shadowed a bit by that character being there. And I got to tell you, it was very nice to not see him in this because it made the story more personal to his character with Adonis. And I think going forward now, you can bring Rocky in, you can bring, Stallone can come back, stuff like that. But now you can make it without him. You can make more movies without him. Oh, come on. Really? You ordered what, the friendship shirt? Oh, God. You're too much. I love you, buddy. Yeah, so I do want to make a point, and I'll do it on the show now. I think if you're looking for something to go see Creed 3. Do you need to see the others? Not necessarily. You can watch this movie as a standalone, and it's really well done because the story is contained within this. But if you want the enrichment of the backstory, you should watch Creed and Creed 2 because there is a lot of enrichment. Like Drago shows up again, and a couple of other characters. But again, you don't need to see them. You can get by without seeing those movies, but they're so good too. You should definitely. And so I wanted to get into something a little bit. It's a little more serious because we were laughing, but like, I'll make some jokes and we'll have some fun with it. But I got a lot of people. How was Majors? Radar says, I you know, he was phenomenal. And watching those two act against each other and throw Tessa Thompson in on it, they're three of the greatest actors in this generation right now going. And watching them go play off of each other in this, like, I love Stallone. I will watch a Stallone movie. I love the Rocky movies, especially. And I think, a lot of people say Stallone is Stallone. He doesn't really act. He's that character. And if that's true, the Rocky movies are his finest acting because, like, he really puts into it. It's not Stallone. He is Rocky. And I think it works so well. And I don't necessarily agree with that assessment. Anyway, watch the end of First Blood and tell me he's not a good actor. But he with all the acting that went into it and as much, but there was a level of campiness to the Rocky movies. In some sense, like, because of what we're really getting into. Like, I love Burgess Meredith as Mick, but Mickey was campy. Right, Rocky be crap and thunder and whatever, piss and lightning, whatever he says, but there's something campy to that. Hogan showing up in the third one, there's just something. The communism factor of and USSR and of the fourth one, and the fifth one fighting in the street, and the whole Sun thing, and the Don King analogy and such. There's something hokey, not in the Creed movies. They're so well put together. There's the right amount of comedy, the right amount of love story, the right amount. There's heart in it. This one is the best out of all of them. And Jonathan Majors adds such an element because he is the villain of the story, for lack of a better term. But I will, maybe antagonist is a better way to put it, but he is the villain of the story when it comes to these movies. But you care about him. You care about what's happening. They in one movie, they made you care about both these characters. They made you want to see either one of them win for very different reasons. And whereas at the end of almost all the other movies, even the other Creed movies, there was a level of what's a word I'm looking for? There was a level of they were villains. They were mustache twirlers almost and stuff like that. And he had to overcome it. And this, it was like there's two levels, and there's too many levels, not two levels, too many levels, and so much sympathy you had for both characters. It was so well done. And to see them square off and the camera movements that Michael B. Jordan and his cinematographer came up with in directing and putting this together. Just wow. Really wow. It was astounding, the job they did. And I'm actually and that's the cool thing. Like, the first two movies, you have Michael B. Jordan learning from Ryan Coogler, Stephen Carell Jr., and you have Sylvester Stallone, who's been directing movies for years and years and years, and is no slouch. The guy can direct. He can make a movie look good and get really good performances out of his actors. So he's surrounded by this, and by the third one, he's ready to direct, and he knocks it out of the park. He hits home run. I was going to say, didn't Michael B. Jordan direct this one? Yeah, and he directed the hell out of it. There's a scene where they're sitting with the two of them because they grew up like almost like brothers as children in the group home, and now they're seeing each other really for the first time in like 20 years, and they're sitting having lunch. And the whole thing, it's not like you saw in Heat, which is, if you're a filmmaker, you need to watch the scene. You need to watch Heat in general, but the scene in Heat when they're having the dinner, Pacino and De Niro going back and forth, it is a testament to cinematography and how you can make just a 3-shot of two people sitting with the over the shoulders and the wide, that it it just how it pulls you in, what it is, where it goes. It's a masterclass in directing and cinematography. And it was improved upon in Creed 3, in my opinion, because of what was happening. In that movie, there's a tension there, but there's so much respect when it comes to Pacino and De Niro in that scene and their characters. And if you've never seen Heat, you'd understand why when you do. And if you have seen Heat, you know why. One's the good guy, one's the bad guy. They both know it, but there's a respect there. And then you fast forward to now with Creed 3, and they're sitting and they're having lunch, and there's two people who are like brothers who haven't seen each other in 20 years. And the way they're acting and the way the camera work is working, and like going from a tight wide, which is just to say like the ends of the tables where you can just see them, and it just seems so tight and uncomfortable, to close-ups of their face. And it gets more tense as it goes, and it was really well done, and I loved it. Jace Taylor says Ryan Coogler is a great filmmaker. Yeah, so you're getting a Ryan Coogler teaching this man directing, just through filming movies with him, because they did Black Panther together, they did Fruitvale Station, and others. Like they're kind of joined at the hip in a lot of cases, and they're friends. So. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan learned a lot, and they improved on the fighting. John Avildsen and Sylvester Stallone in the first Rocky movie reinvented boxing movies and how they're filmed, and actually brought it into the ring. I remember when I was in film school, our cinematography class showed us that fight scene from the first Rocky, and when they were pointing out every cut and like why you're in the ring. And when you're in the ring, your tension is up. Like you are like, when you're watching that movie, you're like, you feel like you're in the ring, it's racing. And then they'll cut and you'll be outside of the ring looking up, or looking at like Adrian in the audience or something like that, different people. And that is to give you that breather, because it's almost like you're boxing when you're in the ring. And it's so well done. And they came up with that method, used again, of course, in The Karate Kid when John Avildsen directed that, and like now boxing movies do that. And in this movie, they reinvented it again in such an astonishing way. It's my first 5 out of 5 film in a long time, and I don't think I had a 5. I'd have to go back and look at all my reviews from last year, but I don't think I had a 5 out of 5 last year. And it's March 2nd I saw this movie, and it's already a 5 out of 5. It's that good. It's worth seeing in theater. Go see it in IMAX. And it is definitely one, like, I don't buy everything in physical media anymore. I used to. Years ago, it was VHS tapes and then DVDs. And then when it got to Blu-ray, I was like, I can't afford this anymore. I can't replace all of those movies again with Blu-ray. So I bought the Blu-ray. When I buy a physical media Blu-ray or DVD or something, it's for a purpose. I'm either supporting independent filmmakers, supporting friends who are independent filmmakers, either one of those, or I want that movie. It was so good, I want it to be able to watch in like 4K or something. This will be one I buy. I own all the Rocky movies, on VHS and on DVD. I did not buy them on Blu-ray, but I will buy this for sure. It was just that damn good. So with that being said, I go see this movie, have a great time with it. Now, to kind of get a little real with you guys, last little bit of this show. So we were off last week. And the reason I'm doing this, because a lot of you have been asking and reaching out to me and stuff like that. So last week, the past month has been kind of tough. And I'm not calling out anybody, putting anybody on blast, because there's nothing like that. It's not that type of drama or anything like that. Casey and I don't know, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. We kind of got into it a little bit, and it was tough. And I think he felt it a lot more, and he thought that I was really upset with him. And I don't want to speak for him, but we were kind of, there was some stressful times, especially between the friendship and this. doing this together and stuff like that, it scared me a little bit. I was like, is he just done? Is he not doing this anymore? And I wasn't getting the answers that I needed. And then we finally sat down and talked. Once we finally sat down and talked, he thought he was too, but he was thinking that about me, with him and stuff. And so we sat down and talked, had great, and that relieved a lot of stress. Then the very next week, so that was like just a stressful time, and it brought on a lot of anxieties in me because like he's my best friend and above, first and foremost, and when I lost my oldest and best friend, and who's like a brother to me, as you guys know, Lenny, when he died. So like there's something that happens to you when you lose, and I'm not saying this as if nobody knows this. I'm sure you do. I'm just saying it because we're on the show and sort of reiterate my point. So when you lose somebody like that, it makes you hold on to the other people in your life just a little tighter. Sometimes a detriment, sometimes, it's what needs to happen. You never know. So, like, coming out of that, it was very stressful, but I'm glad, like, Casey and I come out of that. Then the very next week, my aunt died, and it was very sudden, like, out of nowhere. Nobody, like, really knew it. And it was just craziness. It kind of went really fast. Like, it went so fast. And like, I was close to my aunt. I grew up with her. Like, she was always involved in my life in some way or facet. And she was the type of woman who could be mean as hell. If she was mad at you, you knew it and you felt it, and it sucked. But then you flip the switch, and once things are fine, she's the life of the party. She's good. This woman had more friends than I could even imagine. Like, so many people showed up for this, for her memorial. So she was up in New Jersey, of course, with the rest of my family. And it's my mother's sister, and there's like 7 of them, and then there's a ton of us grandkids. I was the oldest, but then we found out we have another one. Welcome to the family. And I'm okay with that because now I don't feel so old. But so we found out she died. I get the phone call. Sad. It's very sad. And it didn't hit me hard because I kind of compartmentalize when it comes to losing people and stuff like that. And because I unfortunately had to deal with a lot of death in my life. And so when it came time for that, like, I found out, my mother comes to me, and now when people pass away, and my family, Mary's family, things like that, they come to me to edit the video. I guess people just like kind of like what I do with it, and I try to add certain elements to it. And one thing that I do when I edit memorial videos is, even if I didn't know the person, I really try to delve deep into getting to know them, because I want the music to be right. I want the story that I'm telling with the pictures or the videos to be right. So when people watch this, they feel like they recognize exactly what they're doing. I work on that very hard when I do it. So, and feel free to keep commenting. We'll answer questions, stuff like that. So my mother called me up, and everybody was like, will you do the video for her? And I'm like, of course. The thing is, when I do these videos, you got to get in deep. Like, I have to, like, especially like if I don't know them, but like, I have to dive deep into who they were to be able to do this. And when they're dead, it takes a lot out of you. Like, you are exhausted after it. Like, her video, like, she died on Tuesday morning of last week, and they asked me Tuesday evening to do it. So I needed to get all the pictures and stuff like that all together, look at the pictures, kind of find the story. Now, I know my aunt, so like, I knew her personality and stuff like that. So this is a little bit easier when you know them. It's not easier to do. It's easier to have everything and be able to kind of pull it together. But you also have to remember who's going to be watching the video. And so I need to figure out, like, who were my aunt's closest friends? Who were her confidants? Who do I need to add to this to make sure that, not that nobody feels left out, but she feels they were acknowledged, which is important. or the person who passed away feels that they're acknowledged. So and that's important to me. Picking the right music. I never use the same song twice. Each song, and if it's multiple songs, I make sure there's a personalization, whether it be a phrase in there, like a lyric or something that reminds everybody of her. And the songs have to be different in tone, and I kind of wave it down. Like, for hers, she really liked country, so I had a Cole Swindell song on there to start, and it really, like, it talks about like having somebody who passed away and like wishing they were there. And then it went into, and I added this for me, a Billy Joel song. And she introduced me to Billy Joel when we were kids. Like she would be driving and she'd pop Billy Joel in and singing it loud and proud. She loved it. And I got into Billy Joel in that sense. And then I ended it with a Flogging Molly song. And the reason I do that is because the Irish backgrounds, but it's also it's a sullen song where they're singing about the good times. And it's not a fast song, but it is a more upbeat song than the other two. So I wanted to end it that way. I want to bring, like when you're doing these videos, I want to bring it back up at the end. So that way, when people finish the video, they have a sense of like, that was beautiful, or that felt really good to see her. It's a good feeling, not a she's lost and we're all depressed. You start that way to remind, like, this is who she was. And yes, we're sorry to lose her, and then bring it back up. So it's like, but we're so happy we knew her. So I did this. It took like 10 hours to make this video, trying to piece everything together, put the backgrounds together, stuff like that. And so I did that. And 10 hours is a long time to be working on a video. Any editor will tell you that. And that's usually there. Like, I'll look at it and I'm still thinking about things I should have done, and I don't think that ever ends. And I know if John Wass is here, he understands. He's an editor. So you're never done in your head, but there's always things you could have improved upon. But it needed to get done because I needed to send it off so it could be ready, because Thursday was the memorial in New Jersey. So 10 hours I'm working on that. But then right after that, I need to pack. I need to get stuff together because I was leaving the next morning to go up to New Jersey to be there. But I want to make sure I sent it to the family so they could all look at it and make sure that they liked it. So... and they wanted to play it, or they wanted me to change something. So, excuse me. That Wednesday was it took a toll. Like, doing that, especially seeing myself in a lot of these pictures, because I was around her whole life, and she didn't have any kids. So, like, all of the grandkids, her nieces and nephews, she spent a lot of time with us. So she was like, she was always there. She always supported. Like, she always liked Scene Snobs stuff. She always she was like the only family member that really knew and like was invested. So, I go up the next day. I take the 4.5-hour trip up there. I'm already exhausted. My family can't come because I didn't want the kids there at this time. Jack's still a little young. They have school. They missed some school while they were sick a few weeks earlier. I was like, it's better if they stay. My wife's parents were out of town, so like we didn't have anybody real take care of them. So I just said, you need to stay, because you need to watch the dog too, and I want you to. I just want to go up there, get it done, and come back. So I go up, and they have like it's just a lot of craziness. My family's a very emotional type, so, and I get it, and I'm putting them down for that. But her passing away created a lot for people going on, and a lot of emotions kind of flying all over the place. And I love my family, but I've never really felt connected to them, if it makes sense. And there's a lot of backstory that's to unravel. Still working on it in therapy, but there's a lot of backstory there to unravel. And the reason I say that is my connection, the thing that would have made me feel good, we're all here. Like, I don't have that. Like, everybody kind of had each other, even like the little clusters. My mom had my dad and my sister. They all live up there. My aunts and uncles all had their wives and kids and stuff. So, like, literally, I felt like an outcast. Not because anybody was making me feel like an outcast. That wasn't the case. And it was nice to see everybody. It's not that it's not. And I saw a lot of friends. I mean, I grew up in the town that she lived in and stuff, and everyone knew her. So, like, I saw a lot of friends from the past. It was great to see everyone. It was wonderful. And I saw one face I can think of that I fucking hate. And I'm just, I'm sorry I got so angry on that. But every time I see this guy at things, I hate this guy and he's there. So I just wanted to point that out. And I think we needed a little bit of in this. So we do the whole thing. Like, you know, even like being at the memorial, like I'm like checking on my other aunt. I'm checking on my mom. My mom's a very tough woman. So, you know, she's 6'2", always been tough, like tall, thin woman who just like kind of dominates the room when she's in it. That's just how it is. And then I have all my uncles who are like as tall as I am. So like that's just the type of element that I'm going into. So like me asking my mother, "Are you all right? Can I get you anything? Do you need anything? You want me to stand by?" Or I'm even trying to stand by. It's very awkward because she doesn't need you. And if she doesn't need you, she's like, "I'm fine. Just go do your thing." Like, and she's not being mean and she's not pushing me away. She's just who she is. She's an independent, strong woman. So she does her thing. And again, there's not that connection there. Love my mother. I know she loves me. I don't have to I'm not worried about that. But I don't connect. I'm different. I always have been. These are Jersey people, Irish Catholic from small town, or, you know, like my dad grew up in Jersey City. We did. But then we moved to a small town when I was in high school, and that's a whole story though. Like we'll get into that another time. But there's a dynamic there, and I never fit into that dynamic. Just never did. I was always the sort of like weird one, like filmmaker. What do you want to be filmmaker for? Like, it's just crazy. You don't think when you're growing up in that element, you don't think past the border of your town. You may go visit the next town over, or go to the bar in the next town over, or go to school somewhere, but you don't think outside of that. You may dream outside of that. There's a difference. But you don't think outside of that. There's so many people in this world that don't think outside of the confines. And I was the kid who did. I was the kid who was like, I want to go on an adventure. I want to do this. I want every aspect of my life. If I said that's a goal and I want to do it, I did it. I wanted to live in Hollywood. I did it. I wanted to go to film school. I did it. I wanted to travel here. I did it. I wanted to do that. I did it. I wanted to, you know, I just went for it. And because I was just like, and I think it's because there was that connection that wasn't there. I felt like I could break away and go and do it. Again, with support. Like there wasn't like my family wasn't there, and like my sister, my brothers, things like that. Go do it. Get your stuff done. You know? So I did it. But now when I come back, I'm removed from it. I don't have that mentality. So coming back into this, I felt very alone there. And it added to, you know, I'm a manic depressant, bipolar. I was diagnosed in 2002 with it. And I deal with it. I work on it. I go to therapy, and mental health is a very important thing. You got to take care of yourself. But that depression will creep up on you. And especially when you're at your most vulnerable. And I don't get a lot of depressive bouts anymore. And it's not like I shove it down or anything, but maybe every 10 years it really gets rough. And it's usually set off. Like when Lenny died, I didn't even get into a depressive bout. It was depressing. I was grieving. But depression, being depressed and having depression are two very different things. And people who have been through depression understand that. Being depressed is different. And so when I go through my depression, it hits hard. And it was set off at that time. I think it was just stress of like a week earlier, I'm fighting with my best friend. I'm wondering if we're going to do this together again. some stuff happened with family. Then my aunt died, and like we all had to get together, and being with them, because I do feel like an outcast. I feel, again, nobody treats me that way, but I do feel like that. I just feel like there's not a connection there. I feel like they can't understand who I am, and that's okay. Not everybody is. If everybody understood who you are as an individual, the whole world would get along a lot better, but it can't. It can't happen that way. That's just not how it works. So getting into it and having that and going through this, seeing my aunt pass away and watching all of the people who loved her in mourning, especially like my nieces and things like that, it was heartbreaking. And I just wanted to leave. I wanted to come back to my support system, my wife, my kids, my friends down here. You guys are. The Snob Nation is a wonderful support system, and I appreciate everybody reaching out to me. If I haven't gotten back to you, it's because I have been in a depression state, and I don't know when it will end, but I'm sure it will end. I want to say fairly soon. I have high hopes, knock on wood. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I get back. I'm in that state. When you're in that state, you're flooded and things are going a mile a minute. And it's not just somebody dying that you're thinking about. Now it's everything. You have things flooding back into your mind from your childhood, abuse you went through, or, this has never been a secret, but I was going to commit suicide about 10 years ago. And I was saved by a very dear friend, Lenny, and I give him credit all the time for it. And I've told that story. That's why I'm not afraid to say it now. I've told that story, and one of the things that came back, because my family was a part of that, in that disconnection. And I was going through a very tough time in my life when that happened. It was around Christmas time. And Lenny pulled me out of it to realize, and I was in a depression state at that point, and I just felt like I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even exist. That's how you feel. And I'm not telling anybody who's been through it anything new. You feel like not even that you should die. You feel like you shouldn't even exist. But since you can't change that, you feel like you should die. You really do feel like you're doing everyone a favor by ending it, because you feel like it's not about, like, I mean, there are people who get picked on, and it's a different case in a lot of ways, but in a lot of time, like and I've talked to many people about this, therapists, things like that, because I want to get a better understanding of it. You do feel like you're doing the world a favor if you kill yourself. And that's how you get to it. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And I do not feel that way anymore. I have worked on myself. I have become somebody that I'm very happy to see. And being a dad, ever since I became a dad, especially, like I'm married to the woman, the love of my life. And remind me one day when we're doing this again, and I'll tell you that story, because it is a wonderful story of our meeting. But, finding out, like, becoming a stepdad, then becoming a father of my own son. And it's just like, I love life. I get in depression states. It happens. I'm in one right now. You may not be able to tell, but like, I didn't sleep last night. I didn't sleep the night before. I didn't sleep the night before that. It all floods in, it all comes, and it gets in your head, and you are sad, and everything from your past that has brought you down keeps coming back and haunting you. But I am in a point in my life where I've done exercises and things like that where I can get my mind straight. And like, when that's happening, I am in a rational state where it's like, I'm still should be here. I'm still very important to people. You find yourself, I've found my self-worth. And it goes from being at rock bottom to find my self-worth and build myself back up. Because right after that Christmas in 2012, Christmas Eve, actually, some things happened, family, other things. And I was like, I had a bottle of pills. I can't hang myself. I'm almost 500 pounds. I could crash the car, but I'm not going to hurt anyone else. I could do a lot of things, but the pills are probably the best way to do it. Yes, I had them in my pocket, ready to go. And Lenny saved my life. And I'll save that story for another day. Or you can read it. I've written about it before. So I didn't do it. And because I didn't do it and I got in a depression state, I changed my life. And then I realized you can change your life. And I hope that if any message gets through of anything I'm saying right now, it's anybody who's suffering through this or may feel the same way, no matter how old you are, you can change your life. I had nothing, and I'm not kidding. I had nothing. I didn't have connection with anybody. I didn't have love. I didn't have anything. I was still drinking at the time. Like there was a lot of bad parts of my life. I left the film industry, and that's again another story for another day, which is the thing I wanted to do since I was 9 years old. And I wrote my first screenplay, Jurassic Campground. That's not bullshit. That's a real thing. It was a 90-page screenplay I wrote in a notebook. And dialogue and everything. And they, so like that was my dream. And I left on purpose. I left the industry that I loved on purpose, and I started something new. And I felt like I had nothing. From that day forward, I realized you can rebuild your life. January 1st, 2013, started the Scene Snobs. Started writing reviews. It was a healthy way for me to kind of get back into writing, being creative again, doing things. And it built on that. If you go on the Scene Snobs Facebook page, you can go back to all my old posts and all the things I wrote. It existed back then. It was Movies 365. And then like a couple months later became the Scene Snobs. But so yeah, it's our 10-year anniversary this year. So going through, and then I moved to Virginia. Casey, and I had known Casey before all this, but like we weren't as close as we are now. When I moved here, we became a lot closer. But we were friends, and I really cared for the guy. And I remember coming down to Virginia, visiting my brothers, and Casey was like, I got an extra room. Just live with me, dude. Just stay down here. And I did. And it was the best decision I ever made because I love this state. I love being in Virginia. I met my wife here, raising my kids here. It's a beautiful state. I just really enjoy it. And I've lived everywhere. I've lived in Florida, New York, New Jersey, California. I've been all over this country. I've seen a lot of things. I love it here. And it's just a fantastic place. And for me. So point being, fast forwarding to this, to now, like being in this depressive state, I'm not in a point where it's like, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be here, or I'd be doing everybody a service to leave. I do not feel that way. I love myself, care for myself, but I have a lot of things from my past that haunt me, abuse and many other things that I wish no child should ever have to see. But it does flood back in. And some family was at the center of it, some things like that. So like it keeps me up at night. And then like it will stress my wife out, and 'cause she doesn't understand like what I'm going through in my mind, and how do you explain that? So like we haven't been fighting, but there's been like this like friction, and I feel bad because she's trying so hard to make me feel better, and I'm just trying to tell like you're not going to, like nothing's going to make me feel better. I have to get through. Depression isn't something that's alleviated by getting somebody a gift. Depression is alleviated by getting through. And I hope everyone who's going through it maybe doesn't know that. Get through it. Suffer through hell, because once you're out of it, you'll understand your worth. And there is a worth. And that's, please take that. Anybody who's watching, who feels this or listening or something, please understand your worth. Find it. It's there. There is not anyone in this world that doesn't have a worth. Sometimes people who have that aren't utilizing it, or aren't putting forth that, and that's how you get some like evil people. But everyone is worth something, and you need to find it for yourself. You need to go through this hell to become self-aware enough to say, I should be here because I bring something to the table, and you got to figure that out for yourself. one of the big things that I love doing this, and I've been podcasting for over a decade, is I love entertaining. If I can make people laugh, or I can make people smile, or I can make people think, or I can make people, if I can bring on something in a positive light, I feel like I'm worth something. I feel like I'm helping, and I hope I am. I don't know if I always am. A lot of you in the Snobs Nation are very kind, and you tell us how much you like the shows. And it's not that I don't believe you. Of course, I believe that, and it's just astonishing. It's like, I'm doing that? Like, it makes me feel good every time. So and it doesn't matter at what level you're at. It doesn't matter if you have one person listening. It doesn't matter if you have 7 billion people listening. It's your brain. If it's worth it to do this for somebody and it helps, I feel good about that. I feel like I'm adding something to this world. I feel like I'm adding something to this world by doing this more than when I was making movies, more than when I was working in TV, more than when I was working anywhere else, doing anything else. Even as a firefighter, like I feel like I'm bringing something to the table more than when I was doing that. And, they're heroes. Firefighters are heroes. And I will never take that away from them or say otherwise. Like, it takes some balls to run into a fire. And these guys do it all the time. And I got so much respect for them. So my point being is, like, I've been going through that. And a lot of you have been messaging me. And you just have to understand something. If I don't message you back, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I don't want to hear from you. Or if I don't acknowledge it, if I do reach out to you, it's because I'm going through it and I need to get through it. So this is me acknowledging you now. This is me telling you thank you. This is me telling you I appreciate you. And thank you for thinking of me and being there for me. And hopefully I do the same for you, not just this way, but if, like, I see somebody suffering, I try to reach out. I try to talk, but with my depression, if I do that, I take things in, and that's okay. And I need that because that's experience. And with experience, even if it's somebody else going through it, you're experiencing that and you're learning from it and you're going in. So whenever I'm at that point, I don't mind taking on stresses. I don't mind taking on things, but I try to twist it and make myself, with that experience, a better person. I'm even working on working on that myself now. I was talking to my wife about it yesterday. I'm from Jersey, and I know that sounds like a cop out when I say it, but if you met my family, you'd understand, or anybody from New Jersey. We're reactionary. You're so hot-headed up there. Like, you're not trying to offend. Well, sometimes you are, but not in every instance. But, like, if you react to something, it's because you react. That's how you do it. You use your hands. You talk. You get loud. You do this. My wife is a very quiet type of person. Man, she's got the greatest laugh on the planet. I'll tell you that much. And I love seeing her do it. But she is a reserved person, and that's how she grew up. Like, you don't react. You don't do that. You don't go over the top. And she married a guy who did. And as I get older, I'm learning more patience, and I'm learning more to not react. Like, when my son freaks out, like, he's sick, so I'll have a tantrum sometimes, and he'll freak out. And then he'll get flooded, and you can just see, like, the tension on his face. And as a guy who's abused as a child and grew up in this and in certain elements, you react. Like, no, I would never hit him. God, no, never. And I can't even imagine it. I look at his face, and I'm like, how could anybody, like, hit a kid? Like, they're beautiful little people with wonderful little things to say. And they always, it's just like magic. Every time a kid's around, like, even if they're annoying, like, it's still like magic. It's like, this is your personality, and it's blooming, and it's amazing. And so cool to see. So, like, I've taken to, whereas I'm like, stop crying and looking at him, and learning, and like, oh yeah, I'll stop crying. And then when he, like, that ever works, it doesn't work. Don't ever do that. But, like, I've taken to, come over here, and I'll be stern about it, because you got to be stern when they're flooded. So they'll actually, like, just do it out of, like, a reaction. And I'll put my hands on his face, nicely rubbing, like his cheeks and such, and say, just take a breath. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're feeling right now. And I found doing that has helped me become like, when I talk to people and something is going to make me react, I take a step back, take a quick breath, and I'm like, let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Let's make you feel better. Let's let the outcome of this, not to raise it up, but let's make you feel better. Let's make me feel better. Let's do this. But I'm also very, like, it's funny that I'm talking about this, but I try to be open about it so anybody who's going through it may learn something, feel something, understand something, tell me something I might learn, something like that. Like, I want something in that route. And Sturdy and Dale, I'm getting to your comments just a second, but I just want to finish this point. So I'm going through this. I'm going through my depression, and I will get through it, and I will come out, and I'll be all right. But I am a reserved person. Even my wife gets upset sometimes because my whole life with my family and others, I felt like an inconvenience for me to put my problems out there. And I bottled a lot up. Now I'm more open. But even to this day, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to do this. Like, my wife will hear me in bed having an anxiety attack that's crippling. And like, it's hard to breathe and my chest hurts. And she'll wake up and she'll say, what do you need? What do you need? And like, she wants to be there for me. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. And just keep saying I'm okay, because for me, you don't want to burden people. Now, I'm not saying that's the right way to be or the right way to think or the right way to act. You don't want to burden people. So, and that's just how I think. So when people reach out to me, I tend to ignore it. When I'm through it, I can talk about it a lot easier. So that's what I'm saying. I'm getting through it. And hopefully anybody who's going through a depressive state or something like that, just remember, you're always want you here, no matter what. And if you're wondering and you're watching this and you're thinking nobody in this world wants you here, I do. And if that's the only thing you can hold on to in a moment to help you get through, I mean it. Reach out to me. You can message me anywhere. Scene Snobs is everywhere. I get the message. Message me. I have had many of the Snobs Nation and friends reach out to me when they're feeling down, or they're feeling sick, or they're feeling hurt, or they're feeling tired, or they're at their wits' end, or they're even suicidal. I will talk to you. I don't care what I'm going through. So if you need to hold on to one thing in a depressive state, and that one thing should be, I want you here. And if I want you here, there's plenty of other people who do too. So remember that. All right, let's get to some of the comments. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't feel like it was a soapbox or anything like that. That's not what I was going for. But yeah, let's see what everybody's saying. All right. Oh, Sturdy, you're so sweet, man. And he's right on top of it too. He says, I get where you're coming from on that, Mick, with some family feeling like the outcast. And honestly, I love it. As odd as it sounds, I embrace it, and you should. Always embrace what makes you you. Always be self-aware about it, and fix the bad parts and enhance the good ones. And you got a lot of good ones, Sturd. I'm happy as fuck that you didn't do that. Thank God for Lenny and R.I.P. to him. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, he saved my life. I love you too, brother. James says we love you, buddy. I love you too, man. The story is super important and will save lives. Thanks for sharing. I hope it may, even like I do. I hope no lives. I hope if anybody sees this, they take it as such. Like, don't just get through it. Take every hit. Be Teflon. Get through. It won't last forever. There's ebbs and flows in life, and in an depressive state, it's not all the time. It feels like all the time when you're in it. It feels like it's crushing you. I equate it to, there's two things I equate it to, or funny enough, it's Marvel, but I'm a comic book guy. So one is when Spider-Man was trapped under all the machinery. It's the very famous cover. I wish I had it up. I'd show it to you. It's one of my favorites. And they kind of touched down on it in Homecoming, and he just has to get to his baser, using every ounce of strength he has left to get himself out of it. He gets through it And that's something you need to do. But also another feeling is recently in Quantumania, you have Scott Lang's Ant-Man meeting many, 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 many variations of himself to the point where he's almost sinking at one point. And he's sinking below. He is killing himself, sinking below because he's doubting himself that he could ever do this or get it done. And he latches on to one thing. He latches on to his daughter. And whatever that one thing is for you, it helps get him through. He lifts himself out. And it's a very cool metaphor for that. And I equate that to being in a depressive state. Even if you have to latch onto that one thing, latch onto it, get through it, and then you'll see a lot more after. Dale says, thanks for sharing, dude. A lot of stuff hits home. If it does, I'm just keep going through it, my friend. Keep going through it. Sturdy says, yes, same here. I've always been like that, wanting to entertain, make people laugh. And with my shows, I get to do it so much, and it feels so good. I'm a lucky guy, my man. Man, my wife supports it 100%. Man, you're talented at it, and you do entertain. I love your shows. At least 3 times a week, every week, I get to do that. You do, and it's important. What you're doing is important. Making even one person smile, it's important. That being said, all that makes me so damn happy. I wish everyone gets to do something they love at least once a week. True, and you should make time for it. And he also says, also makes sense because your mind is here. It's true. Same here. Anyone feels like they reach out to Sturdy, I want you here. Want you to hear you matter. You are important. It's a great message. I think that's a great message to end on. Hope you guys enjoyed this Snobs Nation Morning Show. Sort of kind of become something different, I feel like, but not bad. I feel like it's evolving into something fun. It's evolving something good. Casey and I had a lot of laughs this morning, and it felt good. And we hope you did too. We hope you were entertained. If you'd like to join in, go check out our other stuff. Make sure to check out the messages that we have, because we have a ton of stuff going on. Plug the horror snobs before you go. Missed you last week. Love you. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate it. We'll be back. Yeah, again, it was just a funeral. It was last Friday, so I couldn't be here. And Casey likes doing this with me. He doesn't want to do it on his own. He could. I mean, that guy, I learned early on, because Casey hosted Off Topic Radio when I first met him. That's how we, my brother introduced us, and then he was like, you're a filmmaker. I'd love to have you on my show. And he interviewed me. So that's how we met. And then we did our own show together. When I moved here, he was like, we're starting a new show. I want you to be a part of it. That was Mystery Elephant. The 3 of us got together. And Casey was the moderator. I was just the third mic guy who added sort of like those comedy elements to it. And because the other two, Casey and this guy, Billy, had been doing it together for so long, and I had been doing it with other people, but it wasn't on the same level. So when I jumped in, that was like my trial by fire, really learning a lot and falling in love with doing this. So, but watching Casey as a moderator was fantastic. He's very good at it, and he knows it. He's more and I don't want to call him a co-host. He's partner in this, but like he takes the helm of being that second mic in this so well. He plays the madman part so well. So to see that, where you can go from moderator to second mic, it's a rare gift among podcasters, radio people, stuff like that. And he does such a great job with it. So going back, yes, I'm going to plug it right now, but he says, great show last night. Yes. So we have a new show. It's Horror Night with the Scary Snobs. It's, of course, Sturdy, as we've been talking. It's Sturdy from Horror with Sir Sturdy and Jason from 3 Geeks Podcast. They have come together. They're horror fans. We love it. I've always wanted to do a horror podcast, and I've tried many times, and I've never got a chance to get one off the ground with me at the helm. And I think that's because these two guys are worth way more in that realm to do it, and I love watching them. They put on great shows. It's a good time. Go check it out. It is one of our pre-recorded shows, which you can check out over on the on our YouTube channel. Make sure to check them out. We have 3 episodes up now, and it's just every Thursday we'll have a new one, so you can watch Horror with Sir Sturdy live on Thursday nights. Then you can go check out check them out again with Jason at I'm still deciding whether I want 10 or 11 p.m. I'm trying to work on it. I did a review at 10 p.m. last night, so I got pushed back, but people seem to really like it. So hopefully you guys are, and you'll check it out. But yeah, go the Scary Snobs. Go check them out. They're a lot of fun. They're great guys. Go check out their other shows too. 3 Geeks Podcast and Horror with Sir Sturdy. And Sturdy also has Popcorn and Pints. And funny enough, Jason also has Matt Talk, which is the premier Matlock rewatch podcast. Go check it out. And they have a lot of the stars from the show on there. So thank you guys again so much for joining. Hopefully I've kept you entertained. I'm sorry that we went from like laughs for 2 hours to, I don't want to say I was being depressing. I was hopefully being uplifting, but it was definitely more somber than it was the first 2 hours. So hopefully you guys still enjoyed it, and it was good times and talks. I appreciate you. Snob Nation, everybody in it, everybody watching, I appreciate you. Thank you. You help me, you guys join up on the Patreon, you guys are there, you guys buy the merch, stuff like that. It helped turn this industry that I've fallen in love with, that I actually love more than filmmaking now, because I still get to edit, still get to create, still get to do these things on my own terms. And you're helping me turn this into an industry for myself where, it's a job now. And I can't tell you guys enough. Thank you. 3 years, we're going on 4 years in October. It's truly amazing. And it still astounds me every day that people actually care to listen or be there or do this and comment along and talk. It blows my mind. And I cannot thank you enough. I cannot tell you how appreciate. I don't know how to show it. I'm going to think of something. I don't think it would be on the level of how much I appreciate you guys, but I really, truly do. Because when you got a dream and you're going for it, and there's people there who want to support it, there wasn't always people there wanting to support my dreams growing up. But you guys do. And I appreciate you. So with that, I'm going to play the messages. I'm going to tell you, have a great day. Thank you so much. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Check us out on our other shows. Check us out on our YouTube. Check us out. You know what? If you want, check us out. Take care, everybody. Have a happy weekend, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Hey, guys. Mick here. Thanks so much for watching the show and supporting us. We appreciate it. We appreciate you coming back and joining in the comments. But, guys, I really want to thank you, our patrons who are out here supporting us, helping us keep the lights on. Really, truly appreciate you. Tim, Paul, Stacy, Matt, Aaron, AJ, George G3, Chris S., Dale, Chris H., Dan, John B., Ron, Jason, and John W. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Guys, we have 3 tiers available right now. As of March 1st, we're adding 2 more tiers for a total of 5 with tons of perks. So go check out patreon.com/thescenesnobs. And join our Snob Nation Discord channel where the moderators are keeping everything going and we're having really fun conversations over there and more. So go check it out. It's free to join and just be part of the Snob Nation. And remember to embrace the absurdity. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. We have tons of great shows coming out and more. Our lives are over on Patreon, but you can check out the Snob Nation Morning Drive live show on our YouTube channel Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern, and tons more shows coming up thereafter. We have great shows like the Scene Snobs Podcast, Betting Bros, Math vs. Smash, Real Combat, movie reviews, and tons more. We have fun over there, and we think you will too. If you're looking for great merch, go over to the snobsmerch.com store. Use promo code SNOBS for 10% off of your order. We have tons of shirts, mugs, everything, stickers, all different types of designs. We love it. I think you will too. So go check it out and let us know what you think. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms. We are at The Scene Snobs everywhere. You can also follow Casey at Planos21 on Instagram, at Casey the Madman on TikTok, and at Twitter Night on Twitter. Guys, tons of fun stuff and new things coming out every day, so go check out our content there. Thank you guys again. We are The Scene Snobs. Embrace the absurdity with us, and we love you, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.